Every year, thousands of travellers disappear on Australia's remote country roads. Some are found days later, confused and disoriented. Others are never seen again. The vast Australian outback stretches for thousands of kilometres, with roads cutting through landscapes so isolated that help can be hours away. But isolation is not what makes these roads dangerous. It is what happens after sunset, when something else takes over. Local communities have warned outsiders for generations. Do not drive these roads at night. Do not stop if you see someone on the shoulder. And whatever you do, do not follow the lights in your rearview mirror. These are not ghost stories. These are documented incidents, police reports, and testimonies from people who survived encounters they cannot explain. Tonight, we count down the 10 creepiest country roads in Australia, where locals refuse to drive after dark. Lemon Tree Passage Road winds through a quiet, coastal town on the edge of Port Stephens in New South Wales. During the day, families drive to beaches and tourists pass through to Nelson Bay. But after sunset, this road transforms into what locals call the most haunted stretch of asphalt in the country. The legend centres on a motorcyclist killed decades ago by a vehicle that never stopped. Witnesses claim that if you drive this road late at night and flash your headlights 3 times, a glowing white light appears behind your car. This light follows vehicles for kilometres, sometimes matching their speed, sometimes overtaking, despite no physical source being visible. In 2013, teenagers filmed their experience and uploaded the footage online. The video shows a bright orb pursuing their vehicle, moving in ways that defy logical explanation. Local police confirmed dozens of reports over the years describing identical encounters. Some witnesses described the light as cold and oppressive, creating dread that lingers even after leaving. Others report vehicles stalling without explanation, stranding them with the light hovering beyond their windows. The most disturbing accounts come from drivers who claim the light entered their vehicles, passing through windscreens before disappearing. Residents no longer dismiss these stories. Too many people, including skeptics, have experienced something that changed their perspective forever. Number 2 takes us to the old Pacific Highway near Berowra in New South Wales. This highway was once the main route between Sydney and Newcastle before the modern freeway replaced it in the 1960s. Today, most lies abandoned, crumbling into bushland that has reclaimed the broken asphalt. But one section remains open, winding through dense eucalyptus forest near Kelly's Falls. Truck drivers and motorcyclists report seeing a figure on a motorcycle ahead, riding at high speed through the tight curves. When they try to overtake or follow, the rider vanishes, dissolving into thin air or disappearing around bends that reveal only empty road stretching ahead. The legend traces to a fatal motorcycle accident in the 1970s when a young rider lost control on the wet road surface and plunged down the embankment near Kelly's Falls. His body was not discovered for 3 days, hidden in thick undergrowth. Since then, the ghostly motorcyclist has appeared to hundreds of drivers, always wearing the same dark leather jacket, always riding in the same direction toward the waterfall. In 2008, motorcycle enthusiasts decided to investigate the legend with proper equipment. They rode the old Pacific Highway at midnight, equipped with helmet cameras and 2-way radios for constant communication. The lead rider's footage shows a figure on a motorcycle appearing suddenly in front of him. So close, collision seemed inevitable within seconds. He braked hard, the anti-lock system engaging, skidding to a complete stop. But when he looked up, the road ahead was completely empty. His friends 50 meters behind saw nothing. No motorcycle, no rider, no one passing them on the narrow single-lane road. The footage shows only empty asphalt, where seconds before, another rider had been clearly visible. Local mechanics report vehicles driven on this section often develop unexplained issues within days. Brakes fail without warning. Engines cut out. Electrical systems malfunction, leaving drivers stranded in darkness with no mobile phone signal for kilometres. Our third road lies deep in Tasmanian wilderness, where Sylvania Road connects small communities along the Channel Highway south of Hobart, cutting through thick temperate rainforest that blocks out moonlight. This road has earned reputation as Tasmania's most haunted for what drivers pick up along the way. The vanishing hitchhiker legend has persisted over 40 years. Dozens of drivers report stopping for a young woman in a white dress standing near Sylvania Cemetery turnoff. She appears distressed, asking for a ride to Kingston. The driver agrees. She climbs into the back seat. But when the driver arrives and turns around, the back seat is empty. No door has opened. No sound has been made. In 1982, truck driver Graham Mitchell picked up a hitchhiker, matching this description. He drove her 15 kilometres toward Kingston, speaking throughout the journey. When he pulled over, his rear cabin was empty. Police informed him he was the 7th person that year to report identical encounters. The most disturbing aspect is the consistency. Every witness describes the same woman, same white dress, same destination. Some drivers feel her presence long after she disappears, a cold spot lingering for hours. Others hear whispers from behind them, though the rearview mirror shows no one. Locals avoid Sylvania Road after dark and refuse to stop for anyone on the roadside. Number 4 brings us to Black Spur Drive, winding through Victoria's Dandenong Ranges between Healesville and Narberthong. This road is famous for challenging curves and spectacular mountain scenery, but also for a fatality rate far exceeding comparable routes. What makes it unsettling is what survivors report before crashes occur. Multiple witnesses describe phantom vehicles appearing suddenly ahead, forcing them to swerve into oncoming traffic or off the embankment. When police investigate, no second vehicle is found. No paint transfers, no debris, no evidence another car was involved. Yet testimony remains consistent across dozens of incidents. Drivers see dark sedans or four-wheel drives, often driving erratically or blocking both lanes. They brake or swerve to avoid collision. Their vehicle leaves the road or strikes an oncoming car, but the phantom vehicle vanishes. In 2016, a couple encountered a black four-wheel drive traveling slowly in their lane. They followed for kilometers, unable to overtake. When it finally pulled over, they accelerated past. 30 seconds later, they glanced in the rearview mirror. The four-wheel drive was behind them again, closer than before, despite having just overtaken it. They sped up. So did the phantom vehicle, matching their speed. They drove at dangerous speeds through mountain curves, terrified, until reaching Healesville. Only then did it vanish. Some researchers believe the phantom vehicles are psychic impressions of past accidents, moments of terror imprinted on the landscape. Others think something malevolent deliberately causes crashes. Local police advise extreme caution at night, and residents refuse to drive it after sunset. The Wakehurst Parkway in Sydney's northern beaches connects Seaforth to Narrabeen through Garigal National Park. During the day, this road offers beautiful views of Middle Harbour, but it has a dark history stretching back decades, with a fatality rate puzzling traffic engineers. The design does not explain the high crash numbers, yet drivers continue losing control in the same locations, describing similar experiences. Many survivors report seeing figures standing on the roadside or darting across lanes, causing them to swerve. But police find no pedestrians. Some witnesses describe shadowy figures. Others see them clearly, describing people in old-fashioned clothing or children who should not be wandering here at night. The most disturbing reports come from drivers claiming something entered their vehicles while driving. An invisible presence filling the cabin with cold air and overwhelming dread. Several describe losing control of steering wheels, as if someone else was turning them, forcing vehicles toward cliffs overlooking Middle Harbour. In 2003, Jennifer Blake survived a crash after her car left the road. She told investigators she saw a child in her lane forcing her to swerve, but cameras and police searches found no pedestrian. Jennifer insisted she saw the child clearly, a young boy wearing shorts and a striped shirt, staring directly at her. Her testimony matched 3 other drivers who crashed in the same location over 5 years. All described seeing a child in the road. None could explain what happened after. Number 6 takes us to Old South Road between Adelaide and Victor Harbour in South Australia, carrying a legacy of colonial-era tragedy. This road was once the main route for settlers and convicts travelling south in the 1800s. Many died from exposure, disease, and violence. Some believe their spirits never left. The most famous haunting involves a stretch near McLaren Vale, where drivers report seeing a horse-drawn carriage travelling slowly ahead. The carriage appears solid, complete with driver and passengers visible through windows. But when vehicles approach to overtake, it vanishes, dissolving into fog or disappearing between blinks. In 1997, police officer Thomas Reed responded to reports of an abandoned carriage blocking the road. He found nothing, but as he prepared to leave, he saw it himself, materializing from darkness ahead. A large black carriage with 4 horses moving slowly uphill. He followed for nearly 2 kilometers, but when it reached the hilltop, it vanished. A thorough search found no carriage, no horses, no tracks where wheels should have left impressions. Reed filed a formal report. Some historians believe the phantom carriage is a psychic echo of convict transport wagons from the 1840s. Others think it represents a specific tragedy, a carriage that crashed, killing everyone inside. The phantom carriage continues appearing, particularly during winter when fog rolls in from the coast. Thunderbolts Way in New South Wales connects Walcha to Gloucester through remote northern tablelands covered in eucalyptus forest and rocky outcrops. The road takes its name from Captain Thunderbolt, a notorious bushranger who operated in this region during the 1860s, becoming a legend among criminals of the era. Thunderbolt robbed coaches and homesteads across northern New South Wales for 7 years, evading capture through his knowledge of the rugged terrain, before being shot dead by police near Uralla in 1870. Local legend claims his spirit still haunts the roads he once terrorized, seeking revenge against those who betrayed him to authorities. Drivers report seeing a figure on horseback galloping alongside vehicles, keeping pace even at speeds exceeding 80 kilometers per hour. The figure wears period clothing from the colonial era, a long coat and wide-brimmed hat typical of bushrangers, carrying what appears to be a rifle or musket across the saddle. When drivers focus directly on the figure, it vanishes completely, but it reappears moments later, closer than before, as if pursuing them with intent. In 2010, a family encountered the Phantom Rider near Noandock during their return journey to Gloucester. The father described seeing a man on a black horse galloping at full speed across a paddock toward the road. The rider reached the fence line and jumped it cleanly, landing on the asphalt directly in front of their car. He braked hard, expecting to hit the horse and rider, but both vanished before impact occurred. His wife and 2 children all witnessed the same event from different seats in the vehicle. None could explain what happened or where the rider went. The most chilling reports involve drivers who stop along Thunderbolts Way at night and hear hoofbeats approaching from the darkness beyond their headlight beams. The sound grows louder, closer, until it seems the horse and rider should be visible in the glow of their lights. But nothing appears. The hoofbeats circle the vehicle, pacing around it like a predator circling prey. Some hear a voice calling out in the darkness, demanding they hand over their valuables in language from another century. Those who refuse to respond sometimes find vehicles scratched or damaged the next morning, as if struck by something metallic. Number 8 brings us to Devil's Elbow, snaking through Queensland's Mistake Mountains between Warwick and Killarney. This road earned its name from treacherous hairpin bends that have claimed dozens of lives, but the danger goes beyond poor design. The area holds deep significance for local Aboriginal communities who have warned for generations that this land is cursed. According to traditional owners, Devil's Elbow was a massacre site during frontier wars of the 1840s. European settlers attacked an Aboriginal camp near the current alignment, killing men, women, and children. The spirits of those killed are said to remain angry and vengeful, causing accidents for those who travel without respect. Drivers report sudden mechanical failures. Brakes fail on steep descents, steering locks mid-corner, engines die, leaving vehicles stranded on blind curves. Some describe hearing screams echoing through forest, though no houses or people are nearby. Others report seeing figures among trees, watching as vehicles pass. When drivers investigate, figures vanish, leaving no footprints. In 2014, truck driver William Chen experienced something that made him refuse this route forever. Descending the mountain late at night, his headlights illuminated a group standing in the road. He braked hard, stopping meters from them. But as he stared, he realized these were not ordinary people. They appeared translucent, almost glowing, their faces expressing rage beyond anything he had seen. They moved toward his truck, surrounding it. The cabin temperature dropped dramatically. He heard pounding on doors and windows, though nothing touched his vehicle. The pounding continued for minutes before suddenly stopping. When he looked up, the figures had vanished. He drove away as fast as the road allowed, not stopping until reaching Killarney. Local Aboriginal elders have called for ceremonies to honour those who died and ask their spirits to find peace. But accidents continue at rates far exceeding statistical probability. The Great Alpine Road in Victoria stretches from Wangaratta to Bairnsdale, climbing through the Victorian Alps and offering some of the most spectacular mountain scenery in southeastern Australia. But one section between Omeo and Bruthen has a reputation keeping locals awake at night, particularly during winter months when fog rolls through the mountain valleys and visibility drops to meters. The White Lady of the Great Alpine Road has been seen by hundreds of witnesses over 60 years of consistent reports. She appears as a young woman in a white dress, standing on the roadside in isolated sections or walking along the narrow shoulder late at night. Some drivers stop to help, believing she needs assistance in the cold mountain conditions. But when they approach, she disappears without trace. Others see her appear suddenly in front of vehicles, forcing hard braking or swerving onto the gravel shoulder. In every case, she vanishes before impact, leaving drivers shaken and confused about what they witnessed. The most detailed sighting occurred in 1986 when truck driver Robert Walsh encountered her near Bruthen during a late-night delivery run. He saw her standing on the roadside, waving frantically as if flagging him down for urgent help. He pulled over, concerned for her safety in the freezing temperatures. As he climbed out, she walked toward him across the gravel shoulder. Robert described her as young, perhaps 20 years old, with long dark hair and pale skin that seemed almost luminous in the darkness. She wore a simple white dress that appeared old-fashioned, like something from the 1950s, completely inappropriate for the mountain cold. As she got closer, Robert noticed something profoundly wrong. Her feet were not touching the ground at all. She floated several centimeters above the dirt and gravel shoulder, gliding toward him without any walking motion. Robert backed toward his truck cab, suddenly terrified by what he was seeing. The woman reached out toward him with pale hands, her mouth moving as if speaking urgently, but no sound came out at all. Then she vanished so abruptly, Robert questioned whether he had seen anything at all. But the fear remained, visceral and real. He drove away without stopping again that night, eventually reporting the encounter to police. Some researchers believe the White Lady is a ghost from a 1950s car accident on this road. Others think she represents multiple spirits, victims of different accidents over decades, all manifesting in the same form. The White Lady continues appearing to drivers, and locals warn travelers not to stop if they see a woman in white standing alone on the roadside after dark. Our final road brings us to one of the darkest chapters in Australian criminal history. Belanglo State Forest in New South Wales gained international notoriety in the 1990s when 7 backpacker bodies were discovered buried in the forest. Serial killer Ivan Myler was convicted, though many believe he had accomplices and more victims remain undiscovered. The roads through Belanglo, particularly old fire trails and logging tracks, have become places locals refuse to enter after sunset. Too many people report encounters that cannot be explained. Hikers describe hearing screams echoing through forest at night from locations where no one should be. Drivers see figures standing between trees, watching as vehicles pass. Some describe seeing flashlights moving through forest as if someone is searching. But when police investigate, no campers or hikers are found. The most disturbing reports come from drivers who break down here. Multiple people describe hearing footsteps approaching vehicles in darkness, circling them, then stopping outside their doors. Some hear breathing, heavy and deliberate, just beyond windows. Others report seeing hands pressed against glass, though when they shine torches, nothing is visible. In 2018, a couple camping near Belanglo reported being woken by sounds of someone moving through their campsite. They heard rustling near their tent, footsteps on leaf litter, and what sounded like someone dragging something heavy through forest. They called out, no one responded, but sounds continued over an hour, circling their tent, before stopping just before dawn. When they emerged at first light, they found no footprints, no disturbance, no explanation. Police advised them to leave immediately and never return. The roads through Belanglo remain open, used by logging trucks and rangers during the day. But after sunset, the forest belongs to something else. These 10 roads represent only a fraction of haunted routes crossing Australia's vast landscape. From tropical north to temperate south, from coastal highways to outback tracks, stories persist of encounters defying explanation. The common thread connecting these roads is the warning from locals who understand that some places demand respect, particularly after dark. If you find yourself driving any of these roads at night, remember the rules. Do not stop for hitchhikers. Do not follow mysterious lights. Do not investigate sounds from darkness. And if something appears in your headlights that should not be there, do not swerve. Keep driving. Because sometimes the only way to survive these roads is to keep moving and never look back. Have you driven any of these roads? Did you experience something you could not explain? Share your stories in the comments. If you found this investigation compelling, subscribe for more deep dives into Australia's darkest mysteries. Until next time, stay safe on the roads. And remember, some destinations are better reached in daylight.